Hello, everyone. My name is Tejit Mithal, and I look after product management at Zycus. That entails a privilege of closely working with our customers to understand their problems, their pain points, and leverage the latest technologies such as Gen AI to solve those problems efficiently. This also forms the outline of today's discussion, Spearheading Innovation in Procurement with Generative AI. I have an illustrious panel for our discussion today. Khairul Azman, who's the head of Group Procurement, DRB-HICOM, and Phil Chalkley, who's Director of Strategic Procurement and Supplier Relations at Australian Red Cross Lifeblood. In this panel discussion, we ask our exceptional leaders to share insights on generative AI and their outlook for 2024. So, this question is for both of our panel members, and maybe we'll start with you, Phil, and coming to Khairul. Is generative AI in the top 3 strategic priorities for 2024 for the CPOs and CIOs?
Thanks, Tejit. It's certainly a priority. I'd probably look at it as an enabler to achieve our top 3 priorities. And I say that in the sense of AI has a great ability to drive greater efficiency, a lot more self-service, a lot more trend analysis that was historically resource intensive, and take away a lot of the, I'll say, low-hanging transactional sort of limited value activities that we've done. And so it also allows us to be able to predict or calculate, savings and other volume trends and things like that, analysis. So it's that analysis insights that come out there. I see that as the sort of the priorities, one of the key priorities. But without AI and etc., we're really limited to the old traditional ways, and we're being quite clunky. So I see AI really driving us customer focus in terms of giving self-service, but also giving us a great tool to be able to do some really in-depth analysis a lot faster and in real time, where traditionally it might take time and effort and resources to actually achieve that outcome. So I do say it as a priority, but a core enabler to achieve our top priorities.
That's a great input, Phil. Khairul, what do you think about these strategic priorities for CPOs and CIOs? Is generative AI figuring in that setup?
The way I see it, top priorities for procurement remains things like category management, sustainability, strategic sourcing, risk management, and so on. However, I do strongly believe that Gen AI is very important and will be a critical success factors for procurement organizations to achieve those priorities that I just mentioned. Yeah? I mean, in our group, we keep saying, in DRB-HICOM, we keep saying we want it to be faster, cheaper, better. Yeah? So the way I see it, with AI, it really can facilitate us to achieve that goals. Yeah? I think the aim of Gen AI is to optimize our processes, increase our operational efficiency for sure, reduce our costs, improve our decision making, and most importantly, enhance our collaborations with the stakeholders. So to sum it up, I think yes, it is critical, and if we want to stay in the game, we need to be incorporated AI in our process.
Absolutely, and as you said, it brings it faster, cheaper, and better. That's a very nice way to put it, because Gen AI has, as you mentioned, a great potential to optimize and bring in efficiencies in the system. So thanks for that input. And the next one, I think, and this is related to the input that you gave, Khairul, and my follow-up question to that would be, when you're adopting or understanding how to leverage Gen AI, do you see any knowledge gaps that you need to address today for your procurement organization? How would you tackle it next year?
For me, it's important that procurement professionals need to understand AI technologies and how they can apply that. With these technologies also, there will be abundance of data. And having said that, the skills required in terms of analysis, statistical modeling, and data visualization will be very valuable. In DRB-HICOM, it is fortunate for me because we have founded our procurement academy 3 years ago in collaboration with university. So for this year, we have included a module of digital procurements. So we have made it mandatory for everybody to go through that process in our organization. So I think if you look at in any aspect of transformation or digitalization, there are 3 areas: process, people, and also technology. Apparently, people is the hardest one, so we have to handle that. If they do not have the knowledge, we equip them with knowledge, and then we make it mandatory through the system and policy. So that's how we want to incorporate, how they say, these tools and technology into our business. Soon it will become business as usual for us.
It's very encouraging to know that you have a full fledged academy to train the people, and it really helps with augmenting the knowledge and thereby improving the efficiency of the system. It's definitely going to be a byproduct. So it's very encouraging to hear that, Khairul. Next on, I think I wanted to understand what are some of the ways in which procurement can collaborate to create an environment conducive for technologies such as generative AI, and how should CPOs align with the other stakeholders like the CFOs or the CEOs to create greater business efficiencies and drive this digital transformation? So Phil, do you want to take a stab at it? What are the various ways in which that collaboration can improve with various stakeholders?
Yeah, sure. From my experience, our CFOs, COOs, CIOs are all very much aligned in the view of where generative AI can contribute. We want it now. We want to be able to utilize it now. It's then that expectation of how quickly will it achieve the optimum outcomes that we want. Will that be day one, or will that be day 360? So space. That's the part that we probably we all have high expectations, but sometimes the application itself doesn't necessarily can't meet those expectations day one. And that comes back to how we implement as well, about what you do in prep to actually allow the day one when you switch on an AI capability functionality, that it's sort of, I'll say, mature enough to be able to give you some of the improvements, the enhancements, the opportunities that you are hoping to achieve. And then it's accelerate ahead sort of space. So so that's, I think we are aligned. It's just making sure everyone's understanding what the timeframes are and how you get on that journey, and the enjoyment of it.
That's a great point. And the point you mentioned about the day one or days 365, it's really important because that day one is still bringing the great value that can convince the stakeholders to see that value and then move and invest more time in this. And that's the feedback that we've had from our stakeholders, that the value is immense. So I truly agree with you, Phil, on that. Khairul, what do you think about how do CPOs benefit in collaboration with CFOs and CEOs to get those business efficiencies? Your perspective, please.
Definitely, especially if you look at in terms of procurement's maturity in processes. So we are very interrelated. If you look at our full suite source to pay, for example, we are very related to finance. So CFO have to be in line and aligned with us in what we want to do in terms of improve efficiency of process, and particularly this is where AI came in. Similar to Phil, I think we are very aligned. When I say we're very aligned, it's just put an example, digitalization and utilization of technologies has becoming our KPI, has becoming our corporate KPI. Everybody have to be aligned on that. Yeah? So we have scored into our corporate KPI. With that, we have also created what we call digital steering committee. Yeah? The steering committee sit every quarter to see the progress of each of the functions with regard of their digitalization and the initiative of application of technologies or tools such as AI, for example. Yeah? So it's driven by our CIO. So it's very mandated from the top, so to say. And for that matter, there's no other way. We have to be aligned.
It's great to see, you know, the directions coming across the organization, because it really resolves some of the timelines issues. It makes it faster, basically. Yep. When the stakeholders are aligned and it's a corporate KPI. So that's very encouraging to know. Phil, this one is for you. What problems do you foresee generative AI to solve within procurement?
We see that solving problems of, you know, we're all under resourcing constraints. We're constantly being asked to do more with less, or do more with the same. So this allows us to actually recalibrate and reshape the way we manage a team and where they focus their time and effort. And then, as I said, the other side, from a category management perspective, to be able to access more accurate reports or data and trend analysis in real time, and be able to run more self-service queries and do more intense analysis. That's really valuable for us, and also, you know, our peers, our CFO, you know, finance peers, or our operational peers. So we find out both it's able to solve problems, spot problems that we may not have seen through it, and also free up some resource, I'll say, capacity that we may not have had to be able to deliver greater value. So yeah, it's sort of, there's a lot that AI will be able to solve or resolve for us that have been pain points for many years for us, the frustrations, and you know, that's frustration for everyone, not just us alone, but our customers, to be able to say, no, here's a way of being able to solve it. Here's a great way, and they also feel that they're empowered. Yet the system is actually controlling, guiding them, giving them answers, and gives us greater control. You know, we talk about compliance. I'm not a big one of constant talk about compliance, but it's another way of us managing that as well, with, you know, and getting consistency and, you know, without us touching. So it solves a lot of problems with a lot more efficiency for us. So that in itself is a tick for us.
No, absolutely. And bringing that efficiency in the system is the key, because the human element is always there in the loop. But we can bring about the efficiencies for the person to do it faster and more accurately is something that really would bring out the efficiencies. Now, looking at the future roadmap and the readiness with generative AI, and Khairul, maybe you can shed some light on this for us. How are you planning to leverage Gen AI within the procurement roadmap for 2024?
We started with our vision and strategies for procurement digitalization, outlining our long-term goals, aspirations, and systematic approach to adopt digitalization effectively. Yeah? For example, one of the areas that has always been an issue is non-compliance and fraud, for example, right? And it will continue to happen as long as we depend on people, yeah? Because human error intentionally or unintentionally happen, yeah? So the only way is against digitalizations, automations, and AI, yeah? So this is what we're selling, and then we get a good feedback and everybody support it, yeah? So having said that, critical success factor for us is process redesign and change management, yeah? So we look at all the procurement process, whichever area that we think, that we can incorporate automation or AI, we will do it. So that is how we move in terms of ensuring this will be a success. Yeah. And last but not least, of course, continuous learning. Yeah, AI is evolving. Yeah, every time you have to keep updated. Yeah, and you people have to be on the mindset of continuous learning in order to be success. Yeah, I think the last comment I have, of course, with an open-minded and agile mindset, the focus of AI shall reinforce the work of procurement function, and not to replace the procurement professionals, yeah, but to create new roles for procurements to deliver more value to the organizations.
Absolutely, and the continuous learning is something that really weeds out the efficiencies in the long run, and AI is there. So to keep the human in the loop is the real target, to make sure that the human element always takes the final decision, augmented by AI. So that's a great input, Khairul. Thanks for that. Phil, what advice do you have for organizations that want to implement generative AI strategies in their current or 2024 innovation roadmaps?
Yeah, I think for me, one is top-down support. So from the executive down, to have CIO, CFO, and other executives fully on board and supportive of AI. Second to that is, as I said earlier, around understanding there's a journey, and not have be quite clear around the expectations, of what can day one versus day 365 or wherever, and that journey of it needs to learn, so you need time to learn and etc. with that. The other thing is, certainly in my experience, is understand what are the areas you want the AI to operate in from day one. So clearly you want to be able to differentiate between that repetitive transactional activities that AI can very easily duplicate, learn quickly, and take away the resource requirement and be very automated, digitalized, as against top end, high value, high risk sort of space. So you want to be able to break up your processes into the groups, and then say, well, this is where AI is going to target. So you investigate and start to make sure the processes and the controls and everything is set up and be able to map into the functionality, the feature, or the app. And then, in my experience, probably then doing be prepared to do some early pilots with group, not go for a big bang and expect everything day one. Do some pilots of it, learn from it, and then expand and push it out to wider and wider user groups to get the fuller experience. Those pilots have been valuable in my experience, because those who aren't part of the pilots hear about it and they become excited by what they're hearing. And so when you do start to push it out to them, they're already excited about hearing what it can do for them and how it addresses some of the past frustrations or problems or annoyances. And so it's easy adopting at that point, when others are excited what's coming to them, that they look forward to it. And that's when procurement then suddenly is a fulfiller of value, by being able to bring a customer experience opportunity to them. And at the same time, it gives us the benefit of freeing up resources and focus on bigger values. So everyone's a winner. So that's where if you're looking to start tomorrow, there'll be some of the key things I'll be thinking through around the planning.
And that's great advice. So start with it, maybe a smaller group, and prove the concept to expand is a very, very proven concept to get to success. And the value on day one is also great with generative AI, is what we have seen. So that's great advice, Phil. Thank you for that. And I think we are at the close of the time. So I wanted to thank both the panel members to take out the time and provide us with the great insights. I believe they will be really insightful and helpful to all our audiences. And thank you.
We all know AI is a topic that's generating a lot of buzz. Well, Zycus has formed a procurement AI council of leading CPOs across the globe to brainstorm ideas and execute using AI, and most recently, generative AI. If you want to know more about the initiative, please contact us at plan@zycus.com. Also, visit our Merlin Experience Center at the reception area to get hands-on experience with our Merlin AI products.